Hey there, people, it's Fresh Mark Sense, another fresh review, aka Zest for Life. Today, I am indoors again because I'm sheltering from the cold, wet, windy weather outside, and I'm here to review some market scents that you can find on the regular market in regular stores and comparing them to niche fragrances. Now, these niche fragrances are the more expensive, like 300 plus pounds for 100 milliliter, that kind of price range, or anything over £1 per milliliter in the price range. Why would I go above that price range? What kind of extra complexity do you get from the notes compared to the regular market scents, like from Boots and the like, and Superdrug and the like, the middle market and cheapy fragrances? What is the difference and what are the similarities? So let's get straight into it with Jaipur EDP. Yes, this is a favorite cheapie of mine, I'd say, because it's about £26 to £32 for 100 milliliters, and it has a beautiful summery feel. It's pouring down right now, but the honey and orange blossom feel with this, and jasmine you get from here, mixed with Peru balsam and cinnamon and vanilla in the base, has a rich honey and sweet green jasmine feel. Let me spray it on one more time just to remind myself. The problem with this for some people find the Peru balsam honey and benzoin combination in the base with vanilla. Sorry, there's no benzoin, just vanilla and Peru balsam. But they find that a little bit sickly sweet. Some people, when I've tried this on the street, I'm used to spraying this. I used to have a bottle, a little atomizer, and I still do somewhere, that I've tried with lots of people. Some people find it sickly sweet, but most people loved it in summer for its jasmine freshness. And it also smells a little bit like morning dew, which is the same note that you get from lily of the valley. So this is one of the notes as well in Jaipur EDP, the lily of the valley. Beautiful bottle and very nice summery sweet honeyed fragrance that I would say is a alternative to Carna Barcelona's El Born, which also has a green opening. This has a mixed green note, has a green fresh opening. El Born has a green fresh opening with a honey that is resounding towards the end. It's very creamy and fresh, but for £140 for 100 milliliters, that is quite expensive. And this at £26 to £32 for 100 milliliters is a lot cheaper. You get a lot more bang for your buck, and it's a very classy scent that reminds me of I don't know, like a very well accomplished Asian businessman or something. It's very well traveled, maybe, because it's exotic, it's smart, it's fresh, it's sweet in a different way that reminds you of India in that jasmine fragrance. You know, that heavy pluming jasmine fragrance that you get sometimes in India. You get the night jasmine, actually, which is even more high quality, really. But the honey blossom, the honeydew blossom, and the sweet honeysuckle sort of flavor of this perfume reminds me of a perfect English summer, and the jasmine reminds me of India. So this is a fantastic summer scent, Jaipur. I went on about it for a little bit because I really loved that fragrance. The next one I'm going to talk about is Karl Lagerfeld Bois de Yuzu. Now, Karl Lagerfeld Bois de Yuzu is a fantastically cheap fragrance and amazing opening. Firstly, the price is about £15 to £17 for like a 50ml like this. You can get 100ml of this as well, I think, or 150ml for not too much more. It's dirt cheap, but I tested the Dolce & Gabbana Velvet line, and Velvet Mojito or Mojito or something like that. It sounds like that. It smells great. It smells beautifully green, fresh, petitgrain, creamy. It has some other notes in it as well, which make it creamy green, fresh, very sweet and slightly tangy with that bergamot. Fantastic iteration of the sweetness and refreshing nature of bergamot. However, this has all of that, which is amazing for the price. I've never, I'm not even trying to overreact like a. Sorry, I mean, Kuba Fragrances does a great job, but sometimes he overreacts. But this is actually amazing for the price because it's got rosemary, yuzu, grapefruit, and that nice bergamot, and the mint keeps it. Mint is even on top note. A lot of nice top notes on here. Grapefruit, yuzu, bergamot, mint, rosemary. Wow. And then you get a little bit of cedar in the mid to keep it woodsy and refreshing. And you get some nice, I think, a little bit of. It feels like there's definitely some vetiver and musk in the base to keep it refreshingly sour and slightly woody at the same time. But this is fantastic for the price. It lasts for about 5 hours, and I'd say 5 hours on the clothes and about 3 to 4 hours on the skin, projecting for the first 1.5 hours. Fantastic decant scent if you want to spray that on the go. I've been spraying it and being fresh all day during summer when I had a decant of that when I was working, driving around to different areas. This was a great refreshing scent. Boys to Yuzu by Karl Lagerfeld. Get it if you don't know about it. It's a solid blind buy actually. It's one of those fragrances that I wouldn't tell you usually to blind buy a fragrance, but I think you wouldn't be disappointed, and for the price you'll never miss out. Boys to Yuzu by Karl Lagerfeld. Check that one out. And another one, Dior Homme Intense Eau de Parfum. Now this is almost finished, and I have to talk about it because if I love it, I got to share it with you guys, right? I've had beautiful memories with this fragrance, and it always reminds me of being preened up in a nice suit and feeling fresh. I've worn it at weddings and the like, and summer, and even in winter, autumn. In summer, it's very soft, airy, and a sweet iris perfume. I'm wearing it at the moment, so I don't have to. But I will. Don't have to, but I will. In summer, the sweet lipsticky ambrette which is muskmallow seed and iris, come out with the powderiness of lavender. Bergamot has a slight sour edge, adds a slight sour creamy edge to the ambrette. This time bergamot is not used in the typical way like a blue fragrance in an overdose to give some zesty freshness. Is more of a sour, souring fresh tone to the ambrette muskmallow. And then we have some ambroxan base, and this just has it has some cedar as well, cedar and I believe some ambroxan, but it's very creamy, sweet. People say lipstick waxy, but I would say lipstick is almost like a candle, but I understand that sort of cosmetic, preened up, powdery smell that you wouldn't usually associate with a men's perfume, but wear it with a black leather jacket and you'll fall in love, because the mix of masculine leather tones with the sweet yet unisex sort of iris is it's just magical, because it adds a masculine touch to something already preened up and done up, very formal, sweet, airy, and it's like the perfect sweet musk scent, and it always goes down a treat. And for me, this reminds me of BDK Extrait De Parfum. I have tried this recently at Harrods. BDK Extrait De Parfum. It's new for 2022. And at Harrods, when I tried this at Harrods, it instantly reminded me of Dior Homme Intense. However, BDK Extrait De Parfum. Or is it Gris? Sorry. Oh no. Gris Extrait De Parfum. Gris, I believe. Sorry, I don't have my um, tester right here in front of me right now. But Gris, I believe is the name. Extrait De Parfum. I'll correct it in the description below if I was wrong. Um, it has an extra tonka bean and fig note, so there's a more creamy fig note, more sweetness, and it's slightly more creamy in the base. However, I feel that this perfume doesn't need that, and it's a perfect scent on its own, because if I was to mix it, I would mix it with Burberry Brit Eau de Toilette. Burberry Brit for him Eau de Toilette, which is a new perfume that I recently got that has an added wild red rose note. And that red rose note and the extra spices with the sweetness of the ambrette and waxiness of the iris may add that extra slightly masculine, dark, somber, sweet touch to an already sweet and preened up perfume with a touch of spices to make it all that little bit more masculine, strong, and punchy, let's say. So this on its own, because it's quite a linear sweet scent, it's very good for mixing. So I prefer it on its own, and that's why as soon as this is finished, I'm gonna get another bottle, maybe even in 150, who knows. So that is the next one, is pie, Givenchy pie. This is actually an eau de toilette. I always have to read this to remind myself that it's an eau de toilette, because the projection of this is massive and the lasting power is pretty great too. I get a solid 7 hours of this on the skin with projection for 5 hours, because its sweetness and its perfect ambery note with orange blossom, realistic tarragon, and a little bit of mandarin orange to give a gold ambery sparkle finish, and a touch of benzoin and vanilla to give a caramel and vanilla ambery crystal feel. This is very effervescent, powdery, and sweet. Yes. Effervescent, powdery, sweet, sparkling. It's almost, before it goes caramelly, it has a brightness to it from that bergamot on the top. And it sort of engulfs you in an ambery crystal, like you were in the prism and you are filled with your scent yourself is the same scent as this golden ambery liquid. So it's very natural, realistic, sweet, and ambery in a golden, shimmery way that surrounds you. So this is almost like J'adore for men, let's say. But it's very cheap for what it is. You can get this for about £55 for 100 milliliters. Or even cheaper, I've seen it, or it's about £48 for 100 milliliters. Not too much difference. But the higher price version of this is Ombre Imperial, or Amber Imperial, or Ombre Imperial by Van Cleef & Arpels. So this is a more resinous, deeper perfume. It opens with some blood orange. But what makes it so resinous is that it has about 4 different types of resins in. Very sweet. This is all about that same ambery crystal vibe, but it's denser and thicker in its sweet, almost more. It's more caramel, more resin, more shimmer, because of the bergamot is more raspy. I don't want to say raspy like it's rough, but it has a sort of leathery, ambery touch, which is slightly more resinous and more suited towards autumn and winter, let's say, for more cozy, closer to the scent. It doesn't project as well, but it lasts longer, about 9 hours and 7 hours, 5 hours projection, let's say 5-6 hours projection, but closer to the body than the others, and it really gets into your skin, so your sweat would actually smell like that. So it works very well. I mean, if it works with your skin, it works very well. If it doesn't work well, well, I'd suggest you try it because it's in lots of stores to try, and there's no excuse spending about £160 for 100 ml. I found this online for about £90 or £85 for this is supposed to be 100 ml, but it's actually they're a little bit stingy. Yes, 75 ml. That was the thing that I was a little bit peeved off about. Let's say trying to keep it PC and not swearing. Um, so 75 ml for 160 or 180 in some cases, which is quite ridiculous. So never pay retail price for this one. Van Cleef and Arpels Ombre Imperial Collection Extraordinaire. My camera is rubbish, but my fragrances are fly. Okay, moving on. So that is the niche version. And finally, the cheaper version, if you want a dense perfume like Ombre Imperial with that dense, more dense autumn and winter feel, and you don't want a softer, effervescent, more realistic. Actually, I think this is my favorite for the price and everything. That I'd most likely buy this again and again and again for the price, unless the price goes down on this to like some ridiculous, like I don't know, like 70 or something, because buying it again for 90 would be a bit more than £1 per mil. That's my rules. So this is great for summer, but if you want something more resonance like Ombre Imperial, check out Mercedes-Benz Club Black. I have to read it from the back. So Mercedes-Benz Club Black. This is a beautiful ambery perfume, but it's quite true to this bottle in that it is a very strong benzoin vanilla incense fragrance. It has some bergamot on the top, but it smells like it's blood orange because it's darkened so much. It's the sweetness that's darkened so much by incense note in the mid. So bergamot on top, then you got some incense in the mid, then in the base you just have benzoin and vanilla and some oriental woodsy notes, they say. And I think it's these oriental woodsy notes that gives it a slight character. But it's not a woodsy perfume, it's definitely benzoin head first. Benzoin is a caramel facet note. Benzoin with that vanilla and incense makes it super resonant, super strong on that ambery crystal deep it's not like toffee. It's not like toffee, but it's so resinous. Let me just spray it one more time. Some people find this slightly sickly sweet. That means that a little bit too resinous and sweet. But for me, I find it a very comforting autumn fragrance, but I wouldn't overspray it because I do understand what people say. So, all in all, if somebody was to come to me and say that that was sickly sweet, I would take their word more than 10 positive people, because I'd feel that the one person who's honest enough to come to me with that definitely finds it as a problem. So it's sort of like a 1 to 5 ratio. One honesty to 5 people faking and being, oh, right, that's okay. Just either to shut me up or just being generally positive out of common chivalry or something. So that's how I relay information. I'll tell you about it if I hear about on the street after doing a little bit of tests. So with this, most people really love the fragrance. Only a few men, let's say, would find it uncomfortably sweet. But the general reaction from ladies is that this is a fantastic fragrance. VIP Club Men Black. Oh my god. Mercedes-Benz Club Black VIP. Yeah, it's quite a long name. Either way, it's a great fragrance for £35 for 100 milliliters. However, this has shot up in price to about £60 elsewhere. So don't pay more than 35 or like £40 for this fragrance. Otherwise, I'd recommend you to go for Givenchy Pie because it's got it all really, and you can wear this for summer, winter, and autumn and spring even, because it doesn't burn the skin. It's like a light ambery enveloping fragrance. But if you want something cheaper and more resinous and deep, like Ombre Imperial, this is your cheaper alternative. So those are those market fragrances and the niche fragrance alternatives. Let me know what you think, if those were accurate descriptions of those niche fragrances. BDK, Gris Extrait De Parfum. Correct me if I said it wrong. That is the one that I was comparing to Dior Homme Intense. And then we had, the resinous perfumes. We have definitely look out for Boys to Yuzu by Karl Lagerfeld for Velvet Mojito, Dolce Gabbana Velvet Mojito clone, let's say, definitely in the opening. And don't forget about Jaipur EDP for your resinous perfume that could be worn in summer instead of Elborn by Carna Barcelona. So, let me know what you think in the comment section. Take care and stay fresh.